Okay, let's continue with this disinformation piece. Roll it.
In concentration camps?
Yes. They have designated sports stadiums. They have designated fields for the American people during a civil uprising.
The government's poisoning the water?
Absolutely. I have all these other government documents where the government proposes and government think tanks propose poisoning the water to dumb down the population, make it more easily manageable.
9/11 was an inside job?
Yes, 9/11 was an inside job. It was a staged event to launch the Iraq War and to set up a domestic police state here in the United States.
Good pause. Back it up a few seconds, please. Thank you. So he just sits there. They're poisoning the water. They stage the terror attacks. They've got camps. Like he's Perry Mason, and I'm just admitting how crazy I am. Of course, I gave him the Emergency Centers Act bill, which is legislation to openly fund what they've already built, Rex 84. I gave him everything. And they admit Brigade Homelands training for civil unrest and mass arrest. I mean, that's Army times. He doesn't care. It's just, boy, look at this crazy person. Let's continue.
It was a staged event to launch the Iraq War and to set up a domestic police state here in the United States.
Look in the mirror.
People who monitor hate groups say they are extremely worried about the influence Jones had. You know this, but you have these vociferous critics who say that by floating these highly charged...
Back it up again a few seconds. So people that monitor hate groups. But the Southern Poverty Law Center and ADL have been so exposed as political hacks that demonize innocent people, and that folks like Hal Turner work for the feds, that they wouldn't even say their names. Just people that monitor hate groups. So the message is, I'm a hate group. And then they go into, I'm going to cause violence. Like the guy watching all the Inconvenient Truth movies and things that took hostages a few days ago, who's calling for global one-child policies. Continue.
For his critics who say that by floating these highly charged ideas at a time when the country is already very angry and anxious, that you're making things more dangerous.
Look, I've got to report the information I see and what I believe is happening. I have a responsibility to put out the information, and then what people do with it, that's their issue.
All right, let's stop there. Let's stop there. In the text article they wrote for ABC, you can go read it, it says, I've got a responsibility to put out, period. And everybody's in the comments going, what is he, a male hooker? So they made me sound crazy in the text by cutting that out and putting a period when I said I have a responsibility to put out the information I have. Took it out of context in the text because they could lie in the text. And the text, the way they put it together, is even worse than the actual piece. It makes it sound like I'm this guy that's about to cause a revolution. And notice, it's not about the corrupt banks, the corrupt government that's making people angry. It's not their fault. No, it's my fault that I'm telling them what the government's doing to them. See how every 10 seconds is another lie. They hit you on every level to try to punch that button. It's a full spectrum attack to try to hit everybody watching with whatever their hot button is. Hate groups, you name it, they're punching those buttons. They make me sound incoherent. I have a responsibility to put out information that I have. They cut it, put out. Here it is. ABC Nightly News / Nightline here.
Despite his mistrust of the so-called mainstream media, Jones agreed to let us into his world for a day.
Hey, we're just soldiers looking across each other on the picket line here.
Jones says he doesn't allow his dim view of human nature to color his personal relationship. Do you have a sense of who your listeners are in terms of demographics? He's downright ebullient about his wife and their 3 young children. So your son knows the word propaganda?
Yes.
A 7-year-old.
All right. We're going to come back and conclude it. And we've got 2 guests coming up the next hour. Wide open phones in the third. A ton of news I'm going to be covering. But we'll be right back after this quick break. Stay with us.